around to the end to find out what it is, all right? Some of you guys may already know. All right, how many of you are here today because you just love learning information? Raise your hand. Okay, awesome. It's amazing. How many of you are here because you know there's something that you need or want to change in your life? Now, how many of you are here because you want to change the trajectory of your life so that way you don't suffer, you don't end up with disease or prematurely die? And that's my main goal for everyone here today, is to how to help you have the best quality of life. Now, how many of you want to know how to best retain this information you're about to learn? Anybody? Awesome. Well, there's 3 things you need to do. Number 1, studies have shown that when you take notes, it helps with retention of the information you learn. All right, so that's why we have these sheets here, so that way you can take notes. The second one is very important as well. I gotta look at my note with this one. Is participation. That's right. Engage. Studies have shown that when you're engaged during a conversation or a talk or a class, that you can constantly just submerge in that information, and it retains better. And then the last one, which I think is vital, is taking action. Because listen, this information, however life-transforming, life-changing, or however impactful this information can be, if you do not take any action, will it ever change your state of health? Yes or no? No, exactly. This is why taking action is so important. Now, I want to recognize every single one of you for being here today, because if you are here, it tells me that you are action takers, which means that you do not let outside circumstances like time or anything else impede you from investing in your own health, or else you wouldn't be here tonight, right? So let's get started. I'm super excited. Now I want to start out by showing this right here. See if this is going to work. Let's go over there. All right, pampas grass. How many of you guys have ever seen this grass before? It's beautiful, isn't it? Now it's originally from South America, and years ago, somebody thought it would be an amazing idea to take the South American grass and take it to California. So they did, but what ended up happening, though, they didn't expect. It started becoming an invasive species, killing off other natural species around the area. And they've tried everything, killing it off with weed killer. They tried uprooting it, but it continues to spread and grow. Now, the reason why I bring this up is because when you leave nature alone, nature does its best work. But when you start introducing foreign substances into uncharted areas, well, now we start to see a breakdown in our ecology. And it's the same thing with the human body. And this is why, unfortunately, the choices we are making for our lives is not only impacting us, but it's also impacting future generations. Even before kids are even born. An American Red Cross study in 2005, what they did was take blood samples from the fetal cords, and they found that it contained over 287 different types of chemicals. Teflon byproducts, fire retardants. Now, another study by the Journal of the Neurotoxicology, they found with the first sample of bowel movement from an infant, they found 87% of them. Let me get this number right. 84% contained mercury. 27% contained DDT. Now, who remembers when DDT was banned in the United States? Yeah, decades ago. But these are kids, infants who are being born now that still have these chemicals from years ago. And so now kids are starting off on the wrong foot in life. They're more likely to end up with autoimmune conditions, with diseases, with sicknesses. And this is why, for the first time in 70 years, kids are less likely to outlive their parents. Now, we know that toxins are everywhere. We're getting them all over the place. And more importantly, I know you guys hear this a lot from your cosmetic products. Shampoos, makeups, things we put into our skins. We're also seeing it from cookware. And how about house products, cleaning house products? You know, according to the EPA, your house can be 100 times more polluted than the outside air, which means you're 3 times more likely to develop cancer because of the cleaning of the house products, and even from certain furnitures as well. And there's a bigger risk when it comes to toxins. So we know that, yes, it's going to affect your cells. It's going to affect your organs. But toxins also destroy the DNA. They cause it to mutate. And so now we start seeing defective genes. Now, ultimately, right now, there's two things you can end up doing. You can say, well, I need to give my body exactly what it needs. I need to trust that by doing this, my body can heal. Right? And if you do that, well, let's see what ends up happening here. Now, what you guys can see here, these are cells, and the red is a cancer cell. You see how your white blood cells are naturally, without anything you do, are killing off these cancer cells. How amazing is that, right? Every single day this happens. Now, this is a white blood cell that's killing off a virus-infected cell. And look at how quickly, you're seeing it in fast time, but look at how it just kills it, destroys the virus. Amazing, without your body, without you even have to trigger it yourself, or even having to think about it. And this is a white blood cell that's chasing around the bacteria. Who needs antibiotics when you have these that are meant to kill off those bacteria? And look, it catches it, and just like that, it kills it off. But what ends up happening, though, is that we don't trust our bodies enough, right? We tell them, you know what, our bodies are defective, so we end up using some outside approach to try to do what our bodies do. And what we end up causing over time, because of all those toxins, it's what's known as leaky gut. Now, how many of you have heard that before, that terminology, right? So what ends up happening is, throughout your life, you come across all these toxins, and now these cells, this is your stomach lining, it's made up of endothelial cells, so very thin cells, and what holds them together, they're called gap junctions. And they're meant to be very tight so it doesn't allow any toxins to come through. But what ends up happening is, with all the toxins, it starts to create gaps. And now it starts to erode away at those cells. And now we start developing leaky gut. So now we develop food intolerances, right? And we think food intolerances, guess what? They're no big deal, right? They're okay. It's just a little, I just can't eat pineapple or onions or garlic. And then we end up having immune abnormalities. So chronic inflammation, allergies, sinus infections, ultimately developing autoimmune conditions. So autoimmune conditions like type 1 diabetes. Now, who typically ends up with type 1 diabetes, the old or young? Well, it's the younger ones, right? They end up when they're like under 10 or right around that age. They start to know that, you know what, my pancreas isn't producing insulin, so I can't process glucose. So what ends up happening, not only do they develop high blood sugar levels, but over time it starts to affect organs like their heart, their kidneys, their eyes, and ultimately even affecting their central nervous system. So next time you hear diabetes, it's more of a neurological disorder than anything else. It just so happens that your sugar levels go up. There's other ones like rheumatoid arthritis. And rheumatoid arthritis, so what ends up happening, your immune system sends white blood cells over to what's called your synovium. It's a sheath around the joints, and it starts to attack that sheath. And so over time it becomes hardened, and inside it starts to become inflamed. And so your joints start to degenerate. And now, if you've ever seen somebody with rheumatoid arthritis in their hands, their fingers deviate outwards like this. You see big nodules, and over time, they start losing strength in the ligaments, tendons, and muscles of the joints. Now, another one, just like rheumatoid arthritis, is osteoarthritis as well, right? So how many people do you know that have joint problems? Can you think of anybody right now? Yeah? Right? You don't have to have a condition to tell you, guess what? Your immune system is being affected. The next one is Crohn's disease. Now, the next two we're going to talk about Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis are part of inflammatory bowel disease. Now, this one specifically here is going to affect your bowels. And what ends up happening is that now your blood cells, your immune system recognizes your gut flora, your normal bacteria, as foreign. And so it sends white blood cells out there, and it keeps it open on a consistent basis, and it starts to attack these. And so now your bowels become inflamed. It can become hardened. It can create ulcers in them as well. And just like with ulcerative colitis, just as you hear it there, what ends up happening is that now you get these big ulcers in your bowels. Mainly it's your large intestine or your colon, and you start producing pus. And so over time, this is painful. I have my sister-in-law who deals with Crohn's disease, and it's a bad disease. I mean, here's the thing: how many people do you know that have digestive issues? Right, lots of people. Do we really want people to wait until they have one of these conditions to finally say, well, I need to figure out what's going on with my immune system? The next one is multiple sclerosis. All right, another autoimmune condition here. Now, this one's pretty nasty because it specifically targets your central nervous system. Now, around your nerves, you have this yellow sheath, and it's made up of fats. It's called your myelin sheath. And there's these cells along your nerves and your spinal cord that creates the sheath. And it allows for electrical impulses from the brain to make it to the rest of your body in an instant. And that's why you guys, whenever you want, you can lift up your hands, you can snap your fingers. It's because that myelin sheath is intact. Now, with patients with multiple sclerosis, their white blood cells are attacking those sheaths on a consistent basis. So within 10 to 15 years from their diagnosis, they typically need assistance walking, or they start wearing adult diapers. They can't function like they normally should. But listen to what some of the symptoms are for multiple sclerosis patients early on. And I want you to think about, do you know anybody who deals with this? So, numbness in the hands or feet, weakness in the body, balance issues. What about trouble walking? Does anybody here know somebody like that? Now, there's one other one that's very common, and you guys probably know somebody who deals with this. It's Hashimoto's thyroiditis. Now, this is the most common type of hypothyroidism in the United States. Now, what happens with this is that your white blood cells end up attacking. You have antibodies that attack the thyroid gland. And so now I want you to listen to some of the symptoms here. And I want you to continue to think about people that you know who suffer from this. They're constantly feeling tired. They're gaining weight, or they're unable to lose weight. They're feeling cold. They get cold all of a sudden, right? When it's 70 degrees out there, they're wearing sweaters and and their beanie. What about pains and aches, weaknesses in the joints and muscles? Hair loss, right? I wish I could blame this on my hair loss. What about itchy and dry skin? Or they're constantly feeling down and depressed. Trouble with concentration. Trouble retaining, so memory loss. Constipation. How many people do you know that have constipation? A lot. And then heavy or irregular periods for all you ladies. Now, they may not have Hashimoto's disease, but if they're dealing with some of these symptoms, that's a direct indication that their immune system isn't functioning like it normally should. And then the ultimate condition of autoimmune diseases is this one right here. It's cancer. Now, when you guys think of cancer, what do you typically think of? Death, right? It's death. And it's sad too. And that's what we typically think. You either die or you're suffering in the hospital, right? You lose all your hair, you're hooked up to all these machines, getting pumped up with chemo radiation. Now, because, what month is it? What are we recognizing this month? Breast cancer awareness. So let's talk about this, okay? Although what we're going to talk about can apply to a lot of cancers. Now, what do they say is the number one cause for breast cancer? Is it defect in what gene? This is good. It's a BRCA1, type 1, and type 2 gene. So they tell you if you have these genes, like Angelina Jolie, right? Remember her story? A few years ago, she decided to get a double mastectomy because it found out that she had the BRCA1 and 2 genes. But so just so you know, research shows that only 2% of breast cancer is directly correlated with the BRCA1 and 2 mutated genes. There are over 4,000 different types of genes inside your breast. 4,000 genes that can become mutated and cause breast cancer. Now, I get it though, right? It's scary when they tell you when you go get your work done or you ever have your DNA tested and they say, you know what, you have these genes, you are at a higher risk of having breast cancer. And it's a scary thought. But the number one absolute determinant for you to develop either breast cancer or prostate cancer is going to be your lifestyle. Things that you choose to do on a daily basis that affect your immune system. Now, another one and I want to, how many people do you guys, still doesn't work for me. Go figure. So how many people do you know that deal with inflammation, like achy pains, right, on their muscles, their back, their legs, and they're like, man, how many times do you hear people complain about how the chair just bothers their spine, right? Well, constant inflammation is another sign that someone has flipped the switch on and your immune system continues to keep attacking, right? So, you know, at this point, you guys can continue following down the treatment of the same path, what most people do for cancer or for RA or any type of IBD disease. Or you can say, you know what, I'm going to take down a different path. And I'm going to do something differently to allow my body to be better. And that is what today is all about. So give you guys more tools to allow you to avoid these conditions and worse yet, die earlier than you're supposed to. So today I want you guys to think of one thing only, and it's all about prevention, okay? It's not about waiting till you finally have a disease to say, you know what, today we're going to make a difference. It is about getting to the cause, fixing it, and preventing anything from happening again. We are going to talk about how to rebuild and strengthen your immune systems. And listen, the information you're going to learn is not just for you. It is for your family, it's for your kids, it's for the future generation as well. Because they are going to grow up worse than you. Because guess what? They already have the toxins inside of their body. All right? Now, what we want to do today is create a healthy environment inside your body. All right? Now, in order for healthy cells to thrive and to create a healthy organ and a healthy body, they need 4 things. Number 1 is they need oxygen. Oxygen running throughout the whole entire body as fuel. They don't need the sugar, although they tell you, fast energy, get some sugar in you. They need oxygen. The other thing, they need proper nerve supply. And lastly, we're gonna talk about being slightly alkaline in your pH. Because if you don't have it like this, then unhealthy cells, what we see is that they run on sugar. They don't use oxygen. They're constantly live in an inflammatory environment. They have poor nerve supply, and they typically either live in a highly acidic environment or a very high alkaline environment. And both ends could cause you a lot of problems. All right? So what we're going to do today is use the 5 essentials. We're going to talk about core chiropractic, nutrition, mindset, oxygen, and exercise, and minimizing toxins. And the very first one I want to talk about today is about your mindset. Now, let's say we were doing a study today, okay? Say on my right here, and on this side we had 100 people who were sick, had diseases, and 100 people over here that were healthy on a daily basis. Do you guys think that the healthy people have a different mindset and core belief when it comes to health? Yes. Oh, absolutely. And this is what I want to talk to you about, the 3 core beliefs, 3 core principles that these healthy people typically live by. All right? So this is something you need to write down. And the very first one is that they believe that your health is the number 1 asset in life. Because they know they can have everything. They can have the home, the cars, the trips, the work, the family. But if you do not have your health, there's no possible way that you're going to be able to enjoy it. The second core belief is that they make their health a priority, which means is that it's a routine, a daily routine. Now, why don't your typical diets work? Does anybody know? Absolutely, right? You hit your goal and that's it. You're thinking, hallelujah, I'm set. We're going to do it for 1 month and see how much weight I can lose. Right? Or I'm going to go to the gym and exercise and build muscle for about 2 months and call it good after that. It has to be a daily routine, something that's planned into your calendar. So for you guys to do write down a calendar, then you write down a certain time where you go exercise, a certain time where you're going to go prepare your foods to make sure that you have healthy food. Because, you know, I'm going to throw myself under the bus. When I don't have the time to prepare food, I go to the kitchen and I look in my fridge and I open it and I'm staring at every single thing in there. If I only took the time to actually prepare, guess what? I'll have a healthy meal. But you know what I end up doing? And I'm pretty bad at this sometimes. I turn around, I go to the food pantry, and I'm like, okay, what do my kids have that they take to school? And I always grab one of those bad snacks, right? So when I fail to prepare, then I'm setting myself up for failure. So this is why you need to write it down. People who are healthy make a routine and they stick to it. Now, here's another question I have for you guys. Why do you think that someone who has been getting adjusted once a week for many years coming here, right? Why do you think, and they have no pain, why do you think they continue to come? Because it works, absolutely, right? Because you're addressing the number one system in your body that allows everything else to function properly. Now, the third core belief, and this is probably one of the most important ones here, is that now they create a supportive environment. Now some of you guys have probably experienced this like I have. Growing up, I was overweight. So I weighed about 220 pounds, the highest I ever weighed when I was 18 years old. And when I tried eating my salads or when I tried eating healthier, everybody else was eating some amazing food that my mom would prepare. And my mom prepared some of the most unhealthiest food, but it tastes amazing though. It's awesome, man. But what do you think the race of succeeding was for me? High or low? Low. It's because if nobody else around you supporting you, it's very hard for you, and eventually you decide to give up. This is why it's important to involve your families. You know, I love this saying: a healthy family, a family that's healthy together, stays together. All right, so get your family members involved. If you're deciding, you know what, today I'm going to stop drinking sodas, then you stop buying sodas for everybody. All right, so those are the three core beliefs that people typically have. And then one other thing, real quick, a little point I want to throw out there is power naps. You know, it's okay to take a nap throughout the day. Right? For me, if I take anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes, I am set to go for the afternoon. So power naps help you to engage more with everybody else, helps to reduce the stress inside your body. All right. Now let's switch gears and we're going to talk about nutrition and supplementation. Now listen, I'm not going to throw out something specifically that you can do. These are generalized ideas. Every single one of you are dealing with different types of things inside your health. With your health, you're at different levels than most people are. And so I can't tell you what you can do as a whole. You're going to see some tips here. Now, some of you may need something more customized. And for that, set up a consult with me so that way we can sit down and actually go step by step for your specific condition. All right, these are generalized ideas. Now, in Max Living, we have what's called the core plan and the advanced plan. Now, I just believe that everybody should be on the core plan. That means you're doing moderate protein, you're getting healthy fats, and you're eating, this is the advanced plan, but you're eating about 20% carbohydrates, right? You're allowing yourself to have some grains. Now, the advanced plan, now this here, there's certain indications that tells you, you know what? You need to do a complete system reboot. We need to get your body healing, and those indications can be diabetes, it can be arthritis, cancer, whatever have you, but to allow your body to function and heal better. That says, you know what? Your carbohydrates are going to be very low. You're not going to have any grains. You're going to stick to the only fruits you can have are berries, so strawberries, raspberries, blackberries, blueberries, and Granny Smith apples, right? And of course, your fibrous vegetables. You're a moderate amount of protein throughout your day, but the most amount of food is going to be coming from fats. These are healthier fats. All right. Now, there are some people that metabolize fats as well. They're missing one essential organ in the body, their gallbladder. Right. So at that point, we're going to have to go ahead customize it. So this is where I said it has to be customizable to everybody. Now, the reason why we do this is to directly affect your gut factor. Now, 80% of your absolutely in your gut. This is so essential right here. So not only does the gut allow you to help you prevent disease, helps your immune system to function properly, it also ensures that you're actually passing your stools pretty well, right? So you're regular. Now, what do you think is the number one toxin that most people take into their body that completely destroys their gut? Sugar. That's a huge one, right? That's a huge one. Sugar, refined carbohydrates. Listen, we all know that it's going to increase insulin levels. We know it's going to cause inflammation. But what ends up happening, though, the sugar that you take into your body, when it creates inflammation, it prevents your cells from taking in nutrients, and more importantly, it prevents them from taking all the toxins and waste byproducts from inside the cell out.
Is that insulin resistance? Is that what they call it?
That's something different. But yeah, that's another thing. For eating too much sugar, you become insulin resistant. Now your insulin receptors, no longer detect glucose. So now the glucose stays inside the bloodstream. It doesn't get absorbed into the liver or into the muscles. So, and then most people, when you think about fats, right? When we talk about we want to lose weight, we always think fats are bad for us because we think this is all fat, so we generate fat. So we decide, you know what? The healthy fats we got to stay away from. No avocados, no coconut oil, no butter. And the most important one is essential fatty acids. We miss out on that. Now, most people, if I were to ask everybody here, like, how many of you take essential fatty acids like omega-3s? Most hands are. Now, the ratio of omega-3s to omega-6 and 9s has to be a 1-to-1 ratio. But the standard American has a 1-to-20 ratio. And these are most people who take omega-3s in. So it's not just okay to take omega-3s. You got to make sure that you're taking the right product. Remember, cheap isn't always the best, all right? Now, the other thing that we do is look at our environment. So the types of drinks you take in. Now, sodas, right, like Coca-Cola, as a lower pH, will cause you to become more acidic. Now, being in an acidic environment, that's going to leave you more prone to different types of cancers. But if you end up having a higher pH, more alkaline, this is where bacteria, fungus, different types of parasites, or just a normal flora in your body can multiply, spread, causing UTIs, candida. So this is why in our office we bring in Kangen water, because we want to make sure that we're controlling the temperature we take into our body to regulate the pH in our body. Now your normal, where you want to be at, 7.3. Okay, so right in here. You can be slightly higher, but any more higher than that or any less than that can cause problems. Now, when you're too alkaline, this right here, and this is the problem with Tums or acid reflux medication, is that it makes it more and there's a bacteria inside your body that will continue to cause ulcers, and that's called hylobacterium. So this is why the Tums medication doesn't work. It will stop the reflux, but now you start getting different problems. And then the other thing is vegetables. Not just any type of vegetables, but vegetables that contain sulfur. Sulfur-rich foods is what you want to be able to take in. Now, because of our way of life, we're constantly on the go. Most people don't have the opportunity to take in these foods. So I want to tell you simple things you can take in at least into your dinners. Garlic. You're going to see cauliflower, broccoli, watercress. There's also, let me see, there's one more here. I believe I'm missing here. Oh yes, the kale and collard greens are amazing sources of sulfur for your body. Now what sulfur does, it takes toxins, it binds them, and allows the most powerful antioxidant in your body, and that antioxidant is called glutathione. Alright, it's the most powerful antioxidant that you have inside your body. It's amazing stuff. Now, not only that, the types of proteins that you take into your body are essential. So this is why we're constantly saying grass-fed beef, fresh caught fish, free-range chicken. Right? You hear this constantly because of the different chemicals they put into the proteins. Now, I want to read off a study because I know that people do drink protein or eat protein bars. So a Consumer Report got published, and they were looking at 15 different types of protein drinks. And what they found out of the 15 types here is that there was trace amounts of mercury, arsenic, and cadmium in the protein powder drinks. Now, they did confirm, and you know what? In a single serving is not enough to cause neurological effects inside your body, but take it for long term and let it pile up. What do you think ends up happening? You start developing immune conditions. So this is why the right amount of protein is essential. The other one, so what if you don't eat anything with whey in it? Well, we have perfect plant protein. Now this is going to help with cellular regeneration. It's going to boost up energy. And then finally, this is one of my favorite products. It is amazing because typically we don't have the opportunity, like I said, to eat enough vegetables throughout the day. So Max Greens has 34 different types of organic vegetables. It has live seeds, live sprouted greens as well inside of there, and it has different digestive enzymes. So, or different essential enzymes like metabolic enzymes, which is the fuel to spark cellular regeneration. It has digestive enzymes, which allows your body to break down different types of food, and then food enzymes that are going to help with different chemical reactions inside your body. All right. Now, one of my favorite vitamins that I love to talk about is vitamin D3. Now, we all know that vitamin D3 helps with immune conditions, right? But here's the thing. When we look at multiple sclerosis and other autoimmune conditions and cancer, it shows that you are at higher risk when you have vitamin D deficiencies. So taking in vitamin D is essential for you. And this is what I call these products your lasting immunity bundle. All right, things that you should be taking into your body on a consistent basis. Now, this bundle here is 15% off tonight, all right? Now I want to switch gears really quick. Again, how many of you have heard you are what you eat? Right? No? Never? Well, I want to tell you that is completely false. You are not what you eat. What's that? You neither are what the animals eat either. You are what your body can digest and assimilate. Meaning, how well you can break down the foods, how well you can absorb the nutrients, and how well you can create healthier cells. Right? When your body does that, then your immune system is high, it's functioning. Your body's doing exactly what it should be doing. Now, what are the organs involved with proper digestion? Who can name all the organs? What's that? We heard the stomach, the liver, the pancreas, the gallbladder, the small and large intestines. Absolutely. These are the organs that are involved. Now, which is the master organ that controls all these organs? Absolutely, the brain does. And you see, when the signals are making it down there, and as soon as you drink something or eat something, take it in, well, your body already knows, guess what? We need to start digesting this. So digestion starts when? Even before you chew. How many times have even before the visual? It's amazing. You're on the right track. So how many times have you guys ever walked by a restaurant and all of a sudden you smell, you're like, man, it smells good, right? And then what happens inside your mouth at that point? You start to salivate. So see, your body already knows when to start digesting foods even before you start putting it into your mouth. Now, as soon as that food gets into your stomach, because as soon as you start to smell, more acid gets produced. And as soon as that food hits the stomach, it starts to break down. But now you're digesting your large intestine, your small intestine needs to get ready because that's where you're going to absorb all the good nutrients, right? Your liver needs to start sending out signals and enzymes out to help produce with that to produce more bile, and then the gallbladder ejects the bile to break down more fats. So you see, when all of this is orchestrated and working well, then guess what? Your body's doing exactly what it's doing. But what happens, though, if you decide to interfere with any of those transmissions? Can your body properly digest the food? Not at all, right? And I want to go over this video right here. Oh, I forget that this doesn't work. I want to go over guys here.
Your spine. It surrounds and protects your body's nerve supply. Your central nervous system is made up of your brain, spinal cord, and every nerve. This amazing system powers and controls all the processes in your body. Information comes from your brain, down the spinal cord, and through the nerves to all your joints and muscles, and your organs to tell them what to do. From digesting, to physical performance, to healing wounds, your central nervous system is at the center of it all. If your spine is injured, damaged, or out of its normal position, there's interference in the nervous system. This will disrupt the ability of your brain to control the functions of your body. When these essential functions fail or skip a beat, you feel it in the form of symptoms or see it as illness or disease. By choosing specific spinal correction, you can remove the interference, heal, and maximize potential. This will lessen or relieve symptoms like headaches, low back pain, and those related to illness without expensive medication. Spinal correction can also prevent them from returning or ever happening in the first place. If you're in perfect health, caring for your spine can boost your athletic performance and strengthen your body's ability to fight off disease. Maximize Living doctors are certified to deliver the safest, most efficient spinal correction available. Whether you're sick, in pain, or you're a world-class athlete trying to reach the medal stand, we'll develop a plan that will help you achieve your goals. Because at Maximize Living, we deliver results.
So I want to talk about a patient, and you guys probably have seen her here. Now, when you look at the side of the neck on an x-ray, it should follow that red line. But do you see how her neck is bent in the opposite direction? Well, one day she started noticing, you know what, I'm having pain in my wrists and my hands. And so we thought nothing of it. That it was, something that just maybe exercising way too hard. But it started becoming more consistent. And so she went to go get her blood work done, and turns out that she ended up developing lupus and another autoimmune condition called Sjogren's. So based off of her needs, we customized a specific nutrition plan. We specifically targeted her spine. And I want to show you, and some of you guys have probably seen her video already, but I want to share this video with you guys. Hey everybody, I'm Dr. Carlos De Leon with Lynette. She's one of our amazing patients here. Now, we are going to ask Lynette to kind of share her story with us. So first off, why did you decide to start coming to chiropractic?
I started because of car accident.
Car accident?
I had a car wreck, yes.
Okay. And so what did you experience?
Back pain, neck pain, I had a concussion, and I had a severe cervical sprain.
Okay. Yeah. Now, most people think, when they think of chiropractic, they think of neck pain, back pain. Is that what you felt when you first walked in? Absolutely right. Okay. And obviously with time, you've gotten better with that. Now, what happened a few months ago?
I was unable to walk, unable to lift my arms, couldn't use my hands. I just was sick, aching, not feeling well, running fever, rash on my face. Originally made a doctor's appointment, thought I had the flu.
So that is just amazing. The power that your body has to be able to heal. And this is her X-ray shortly after that. Do you see? You guys see the difference there? See what happens when you allow your body to heal? And the whole entire time, she refused to take any medication her medical doctor was prescribing her, under her free will. But that is so amazing, right? And so she was coming up with, she started to mention symptoms like unable to walk, right? Weakness. And when we look at our bodies, our body gives us warning signs like headaches to allow your body to work at its fullest. And this is why when someone asks me, well, hey doc, how long do I need to keep coming for? As long as you want to be healthy. Because it's just so amazing when you have the ability to, have you guys heard of the vagus nerve? This is one of the most complex nerves in your body. Now that nerve is located, if you look back here, right here, that vagus nerve comes out on both sides, runs all the way down, and affects all of these organs. It allows your body to rest. It allows it to digest. It allows that immune system to be turned on and firing off to protect you against different infections and diseases. So this is what we do on a daily basis when we're constantly adjusting you, is allowing your body to function and heal better. This is why Lifetime Chiropractic Care is so amazing for everybody. Now with that though, you still need to continue with the good supplementation, good nutrition, and also, I keep grabbing that, exercise, right? Because when you move, you're transporting blood throughout your body, and your blood carries oxygen. And this oxygenation allows your body to heal itself, provides the right nutrients for the area. And so it doesn't matter what type of workout you do. You guys can go do a 10-minute walk where you're slowing up, you're slowing down. You can do push-ups, you can do jumping jacks, you can run, you can lift weights. But as long as you're doing exercise, that's allowing your body to heal. Now, with that, you got to look at the toxins. How many toxins do you guys think you have accumulated throughout your whole entire life? Tons of them, tons, right? Now, your body, in order to properly eliminate those toxins, either through your stool or through your urine or sweat, it needs byproducts. So it needs vitamins and minerals. So you're going to see right here, here's toxins, right? Toxins are typically fat soluble, meaning they get stored in your fat. This is why when people start to lose weight at a fast rate, they start saying, man, why do I feel so weak? Why do I get so tired? Why do I have these headaches? Why am I getting more sick? It's because all these toxins are being released. And if their body's not eliminating them safely, then they start developing the symptoms. So step one, in order for you to go to step one through detox, you need B vitamins, folic acid, glutathione, antioxidants, milk thistle for your liver, vitamin C, vitamin E. Now, that gets you to step one. Step two, you need amino acids, specific ones. Glutamine, glycine, taurine, cysteine. You also need your sulfurs, right? We talked about the different types of vegetables you can take in. And then finally from there, now your body uses the gallbladder, the kidneys, the urine, the feces to eliminate those toxins. When your body does this, then you're not susceptible to more cancer or different types of diseases. You have energy. This is why it's, what's that? So this is why it's so vital for you guys to be just taking in the right foods into your body.
What don't need to get aminos?
The best way to get aminos, always the best way is through foods. That's my number one thing. Is always, if you can get them through your foods, best way. And this is why the foods that you take into your body are so vital and important. You know, and I know, I get it, right? How many of you think that eating healthy is very expensive? Right? Right? You can spend quite a bit of money sometimes, but guess what? Do you want to invest in your health now? Or would you rather pay for the consequences later? What do you think is going to be more expensive? Yeah, and not just monetarily either. All right? Now, this right here, this is what I call the Powerful Prevention Bundle. It has what we talked about, our vitamin D, the protein, the max greens, but it also has your daily defense. Now, this has curcumin 3, C3, and that has 3 different types of curcuminoids that help with detoxification and anti-inflammation, and also cell detox. Now, if any of you guys want more information on this, let me know. It is 20% off. Now, your detox system, everybody should be detoxing their body 1 to 2 times per year, at least at a minimum. If not doing things on a daily basis to allow your body to continue to heal. And then mentioned about the daily defense here. All right. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, if you need a one-on-one, let me know, because I know that you guys have specific needs, have specific health goals, and I want to ensure that each and every one of you are able to attain those. All right. Now, we did promise a special treat, and so I want to introduce Kevin over here. Kevin is an amazing man, and he's going to talk about his kombucha. Now, I've had his kombucha, and I am a big fan. So he's going to talk about this, how to get it started, and more importantly, he's going to let you try them too, and know that, hey, kombucha is not all that bad.
Yeah.
All right.
I am a doctor, a patient. I am not a doctor. And I'm not selling anything. I make my own kombucha. 5 years ago, I fell in love with it, but it's $5 a bottle in the grocery store. And now it's everywhere. How many of you guys don't know what kombucha is? Have you never heard of it? All right. It's a tea that's fermented. So it's very simple. I use 3 gallons, and this is just one. It takes an organic black tea. I use a friend of mine has a tea store called In Tea down in Littleton, and I do her Monk's Blend. It's a combination of 4 black teas. You don't want anything with oils or perfumes or flavors. You want an organic black tea, Costco organic sugar, and distilled water. And you heat, so if you're going to make 1 gallon, it's very simple. It's 1 gallon, 1 cup of sugar, and 1 tablespoon of black tea. You heat up the water till it rises to a boil. You dissolve your cup of sugar in it. You put your tea in it, turn it off, and let the tea steep for maybe 15 minutes. Okay? You strain it and you put it in a jar like this. And you have to let it cool. And the key to this is what's called a SCOBY. A SCOBY is a symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast. They're these little nasty-looking rubberized discs. That is bacteria and yeast. And what you do is once you got your tea and stuff and it's cooled down, you slip the SCOBY in there, and what it does is it converts the sugar into vinegar. So it eats the sugar and it becomes carbonated. And people either love it or they sort of hate it. But one nice thing about doing it yourself is that if you only let it, so you put it in here, and then I always put the date on here, and then you just sort of put it in a dark place. The warmer it is, the quicker it will ferment. Okay, the quicker it'll turn from sugary to vinegary. Right? After about 2 weeks, I take a straw, I stick it right down in there, and I taste it. If it's still too sweet, I'll leave it for 3-4 more days. I like mine pretty tart, so mine is usually between 3 weeks and 1 month. Then it's ready. Then it's very simple. I take the SCOBY out, I bottle it, and then I add ginger. This is a organic cherry juice. I have blackberries and strawberries in my backyard. I'll take 3 strawberries, mush them up, jam them in there, and then you cap it, and then you let it do a second ferment for maybe 3 or 4 days outside of the fridge. The minute you put the bottles in the fridge, they stop fermenting. So it doesn't get any more tart. It's kind of where it is. And so the nice thing is you can, if you like it sweet, you can do it for 2 weeks and bottle it. If you like it tart like I do, you can do it for a month and bottle it. And you can put any kind of flavors in you want. Like I said, strawberries and blackberries I do when they're in my backyard. I always do ginger. It's my favorite. And I like a organic black cherry juice or a cherry juice, tart cherry. I've done mango before, kind of weird. But, it's the health benefits it's tons of probiotics. It puts yogurt to shame. I mean, there's so many strands it's just really, really excellent, and tons of anti-inflammatory properties, and I forget the name. And there's some acid acids in it that are naturally occurring acids, and it's really good for gut health. One thing people don't understand is that you have good and bad bacteria in your stomach, and the bad bacteria eats sugar, and the good bacteria, people don't always know this, eat fiber. So you want to feed your good bacteria, and this helps with that. The other thing is I'm on a ketogenic diet, which is what Dr. Carlos had up there, where I eat 70% of my calories come from fat. And fat can be hard to metabolize. So when I sit down to eat my meal, I drink about 6 ounces of this because of the vinegar in it and everything. It helps to metabolize the fats. It's really good if you start moving towards more of a ketogenic diet where you're eating more fats and less carbs. It's good to have something like this. It helps with your digestion. So anyway, the one thing that you can't get is a SCOBY. And the funny thing about the SCOBY is each batch you make, it produces a second SCOBY. So you get an extra one of these discs. This is my SCOBY hotel that's in my fridge. I jam them in there, and then, and I always just kind of use the best ones and I put them in there. So if you want to try this, you need to get a SCOBY from me. You need to take one home. So if you're thinking about doing it, if I were you, I would taste it first, because like I said, if you don't like it, then and mine are pretty tart. Like I said, these were in this jar for, and if you so if you think, wow, this is kind of too tart for me, then you can dial it back. Super good for you, really expensive to buy, and so eating healthy doesn't have to be expensive. And literally, it takes me an hour and a half. What takes the longest is to let it cool after you steep the tea. You've got to let it come down so you don't kill the SCOBY when you put it in it. And then it's an hour every third Sunday. I do 3 gallons. And 3 gallons produces about 16 to 18 of these bottles. So, any questions? You want to try some? Come on up.
What is SCOBY?
SCOBY is this symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast. So it's bacteria and yeast. And when you put it in there, it eats the tea, it eats the sugar, and it converts it to vinegar. And it carbonates it at the same time. So it's a process. It's called fermentation. It's a fermentation process. Same as sauerkraut, same as a lot of other fermentation. And to me, it produces a wonderful drink.
Yeah, and it's not going to get you drunk, so
No,
don't worry about that.
They say there can be a trace of alcohol, 0.5 or something.
Very little. Now, it did take me, when I first started drinking kombucha, it was about maybe 3 years ago. It took me a few tries to finally say, you know what, I think I like this. All right. So if you don't like it on the first try, don't just give up on it. Like he said, it's an amazing source of good probiotics. All right. So give it a shot. I think you guys might like it. Yeah. Is there any questions? Anybody have any questions at all?
Is that how they make this kombucha you buy in the grocery store?
Yes, it is. It's exactly the same, but they do it in very large tanks. I don't sell this. I give it to friends. The difficulty is that it's very hard to control the quality. Sometimes you'll do it and there's no carbonation and you don't know why. That's usually because the seals leak. It needs to be, you can't just put it in. You got to get these jars that have these super in order for the carbonation to build up. Sometimes if it's really hot, if it's one of those weeks where it's 100 degrees outside, it's going to ferment really fast and it's going to get a lot more vinegary quicker. And so you got to taste it a lot more often, like every couple of days. So it's hard to, but that's kind of the fun of it, is that each batch is different. Like some days, oh, I love this batch, this one's great, and then the next one it's like, it's okay. So it's kind of a hobby, and at the same time, it's really good for you. They say you shouldn't drink a ton of it. I mean, I never drink more than 1 bottle a day, and it's usually basically my wife and I split a bottle at our meal where we're eating a lot of fats. That's what we're doing. So you can't use this to replace your beer habit you're not going to want to pound a six-pack a day watching Monday Night Football. Not good for you. But come on up and try it if you want to. That's okay.
Yeah, no, go right ahead. If you guys have any questions for any of us, let us know, okay?